Okay. Isn't that a pretty sight behind me? So, with the second part of this video series, what do I really need? We said we'd talk about shelters. Now, the sun's out. Beautiful bluebird day here, right? It's about 80 degrees, 85 degrees. Low humidity, it's gorgeous. So, why would I really need a shelter? Well, here's the trick of it. This is your first part of shelter. Is getting a shirt on. Now, usually through the summertime when I'm in my backyard or whatever, I'm shirtless. And 90% of the time, my first couple of days, I burn. Now, I don't know how many of you have, but being burnt from the sun and having to survive and what I really need in the woods is bad. You get the shakes, you get the shivers, it hurts, yada yada yada. That's why you need a shelter. Even in beautiful weather like this, not necessarily to sleep in. Something to get under in the shade if you're out in the open. Now if you're back in here, you don't have to worry about sun. Okay? You don't have to worry about the sun, but now the nighttime's coming on. It's evening here. Now you're going to have to start worrying about the chill of the night, the dew. And don't forget, if it's not raining, you don't have to worry too much about it. But when it's going to rain and the dew falls heavy, now you're damp. I'm not saying soaking wet, but you're going to be damp. So we need a shelter. Now, I've said this for years, and I've said it for years. A shelter is anything. A shelter really is anything that's going to keep you from the elements. So what is that you're saying? A schmog. Schmog, whatever they call them. It's a form of shelter. I have one here with me. I always keep one around. Now, if I hadn't had this t-shirt and it got really hot out here, I could drape this schmog over my shoulders. Like such. And hence is my first form of shelter. Or I could drape it over my head like a hood and over my shoulders, and it would be my first piece of shelter. Now, do we really need shelter? Yes. To protect you from the elements. That's what shelter is made for, to protect you from elements. They can keep you warm, they can protect you from rain, sleet, snow, so on and so forth. Trying to get it, there we go. Okay, so it's not glaring. Now, as far as a shelter build, there's a million things you can carry. From the simplest form of a plastic drop cloth to 8x10 canvas tarps, 10x10 canvas tarps, which weigh, 20 pounds or more. What shelter is a way to protect you from the elements, not just rain and snow. Dew. Dew will make you wet, like I said, it'll get you damp. Damp is not good. Damp makes you cold. It's the same thing as having clothes on that you just pulled out of the washer on a good spin cycle. It'll get you damp. Damp, 75-degree weather and damp starts to get you chilled. Chilled is not good. Hence the need for shelter. Now, what kind of shelter? To be honest with you, there's so many different types. It's really up to you. I've slept under plow points, and that is my favorite type. I've slept under lean-tos. I've slept under A-frames. I've slept under what we used to call cocoon shelters, which is basically you lay down, you put your poncho over top of you, and fold the poncho in underneath you. The hood becomes now your head cover with a little stick up here above your head. The hood's now your protective cover. I've slept in many, many types of shelters and natural shelters. But there's things to look for. If you're out in the woods walking around and you see, let's say that for instance, let's just say that mound right here is on land. That's ready-made shelter. Burrow into it. Put some more debris on top if it's going to rain, but burrow into it. Like that hole right there you can get into. And this is all covering you. Ready-made shelter. That's natural too. Debris shelters. We've all seen debris shelters. My personal belief is this. I don't like debris shelters for a couple of reasons. One of them is they draw bugs. You're talking, centipedes, spiders, ants. I don't like them, and they are phenomenal shelters if you are in an emergency situation. I don't like them because, it's not that I have anything against spiders and everything else. I don't like things that bite me in the night or will be crawling in various places overnight. That kind of worries me. And that's one of the reasons why I don't use a whole lot of plow points and stuff anymore when I go camping, because you're sleeping on bare ground. Or you could put a footprint down, or what we used to call a floor. But that'll work too, but you're still open to critters. That's why I like tents. And to a certain extent hammocks, because you're closed off from the bugs. But that's an enjoyable outing. If an emergency situation, I don't care if a spider is crawling on my face. So anyway, pardon my phone. So anyway, shelters are, I've seen wool blankets used for a poncho shelter, or not a poncho, but a lean-to shelter. Shelter is anything that's going to get you out of the elements. Do I really need that in the woods? Yes, you would. For a certain amount of time, till your skills get good enough, and then you can go to places like that and be perfectly happy and comfortable. So I hope this all made sense. So just remember, if you're going to do a shelter, anything that's waterproof that will protect you from the elements is a shelter. Anything that will protect you from the elements is a shelter, like a t-shirt in the sun, a hat in the sun or in the rain. Anything that will protect you from elements. So this is Tom. I hope you enjoy the second part of this series. We will be back with a third part. I'm not sure if I'm going to discuss containers, cooking systems, and whatnot. Or maybe in the middle of this series we'll put something in that, people are probably going to disagree with me, but they always did. So, thank you for your time and your patience. We'll see you guys on part 3.